This is a normal brain scan of somebody about ready to go into meditation. It's pretty healthy beta alpha, low-level beta, and watch what happens now. This is just a few minutes into our meditation. She's going into gamma, and we know now she's having a very strong experience, and her entire brain is in that superconscious state. This brain moves into a very, very high amplitude of energy, almost impossible to record, but what we know is she's over 300 standard deviations above normal in gamma, and of course, very profound, significant changes with her as well. Here's my theory. When you have an internal experience in your mind that carries an amplitude of energy that's greater than the hardwired programs in your brain and the emotional addictions or conditioning in your body, you can be biologically changed. Most people have an experience in their life that has branded them emotionally, that's been traumatic or some type of betrayal or some type of shock. The experience then begins to emboss the circuits in their brain into a specific pattern. The experience produces a strong emotion. The stronger the emotion, the more the circuits are branded. And of course, the person moves from one state of being into another state of being. And we can say, after that experience, the body and the brain are now in the past. So what happens is we begin to develop beliefs about ourselves and our lives from our past experiences, because we tend to think neurologically and we tend to feel chemically within the boundaries of our biology based on our past memories and experiences. And how you think and how you feel becomes your state of being. And your state of being is your personality. So now the person is bound to their past. So how do we change that? When a person has an inner experience, just like you saw, that carries an amplitude of energy that's greater than the past external experience, whatever that was in their life, that internal experience then is going to rewire the brain and send a new emotional signal to the body, and it's going to recondition the body out of the past. Now our biology changes, and we can say the past is washed away. The cool thing about that is that that event becomes an experience that the person never forgets. This is a case study I want to talk to you about. You could see that she's in low-level beta. Things tend to look normal. That's our baseline measurement before we start the meditation. This is what her strip chart starts to look like. You can see that little bit more activity in the lower middle section. That area of the brain is the right hemisphere, the temporal area. And all of a sudden we start seeing energy start to build like this, and we now can predict when this happens that the person is going to have a very profound moment. And you can see the energy keeps building, you see the energy keep building, you see the energy keep building. There's more and more energy. She's going from a low level all the way up into high beta, then ultimately she moves into gamma. That's gamma right there. Now check this out. This is what we see during the process of her meditation. We start to see some energy build. We know she's having an inner event. We know that if she can stay with it, she's going to have a profound moment, and that inner event is going to become an experience that she never forgets. And since experience enriches the brain, it can literally rewire the brain. And since the brain is a record of the past, that novel moment begins to change their biology. And since experience produces an emotion, and emotions signal genes, you can begin to see how a gene can be upregulated from one inner event. When energy builds in the brain, awareness and consciousness builds in the brain. The person is more conscious of their unconscious self. Take a look at this case study here. This is a normal brain. And then we started seeing this. That's definitely not a normal brain. This person is experiencing a significant amount of ecstasy. They're enjoying the experience. The higher amplitudes in gamma represent that their inner event, whatever's happening between their ears, is more real than any past external event, and that's what begins to make those biological changes.
Sign up now on GoWSIM.com to watch the full presentation.